Hi and welcome to another video on the Casio CTX 3000 keyboard, and in this video I'm going to be showing you again how to customize some of the preset rhythms that are built into the keyboard. In the first video I showed you how to turn on and off parts using the mixer function, but in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a rhythm from the preset area into a user rhythm. On the 3000 you can save up to 50 user rhythms, and on the 5000 you can have 100 user rhythms. So the way to copy the rhythm into a user from a preset into a user rhythm area, first of all let's find a rhythm. I'm going to pick this one here, Disco Shuffle. Let's have a listen to this one first of all, just to see what kind of flavour we've got. So those are the variations, and we're actually going to be copying the whole thing, the introduction, the variations, the 4 variations, and also the fills that go with them, and the ending will all be copied in one procedure. So the way to do that is to hold down the function edit button here, and on your screen on the keyboard you should see edit. It will probably say to drum, and number 2 will be flashing. And then whichever variation you've got, variation 1, it really doesn't matter at this stage. We're going to be copying the whole Disco Shuffle into a user area. And the way to do that is to press registration button number 1. Watch what happens on the screen. Very quickly it said copy, and then it went back to element. If I do it again, it says copy and element. So registration button number 1, we can just check that it's the rhythm we want by pressing the enter button. Yep, it's the Disco Shuffle. We can also press the start and stop button just to check that that's the one we want to copy. Notice that when I play it from here, it plays a chord of C, and that's because all the rhythms are programmed for a chord of C. And then when you play the different chords on your keyboard, it adjusts to the different chord types that you're playing. So this is in C. Now the next thing to do is we're going to press the enter button again, and it will ask a question, are you sure? And we'll say yes. And eventually it says complete. And now we're going to exit, so a long press on the exit button. We're going to press yes, and here is the point at which it actually writes it into the user rhythm. We're going to say yes again, and it takes us immediately to the copy that we've just made. Now on my keyboard I've already got some rhythms that I've started some work on saved into the keyboard. Some of them I've named, some of them I haven't named. When you do the copying, it will copy it to the next blank user rhythm, which in this case was number 306. So this is now the Disco Shuffle copied over. But if I go to 307, you'll see this says no data, so this is a blank one. So if I did another copy of another rhythm, it will go into 307. But we're at 306 here. So now we've got that programmed into one of the user rhythms. First of all, we might like to name it. So the way to do that is to hold down the record stop button, and you should see rhythm name. You can use the left and right buttons to check, left and right arrows here to get to name. And then you can press enter, And then you can use the wheel or the plus and minus buttons to put in a new character. And again, the left and right buttons to move along the line. And change the character like that. You can also delete characters here. And again, just use your wheel or your plus and minus buttons to change the character up on the screen. Just make it like that. If I then move along the line and use the wheel, you'll find that nothing's happening. So here you need to press the insert button to actually insert a character into a blank space before you can carry on. Or you can press delete like that. Then I'm going to press enter and it says, are you sure? I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to go back to 306 and you can see that I've now named that disco shuffle. Okay, so now what we're going to do is delete some of the parts within this rhythm that we copied over. This is a little more flexible than just merely turning parts on and off in the mixer, which I showed you in another video, because then once we've deleted a part, we can actually record a new part to go within this particular rhythm. So the thing to do is, first of all, obviously to select the rhythm, and then again another long press on the edit button. And again, it will probably say edit to drum, number 2 will be flashing, and then the variation will be flashing down here. We're actually only going to be deleting the part for one particular variation. If you want to delete the parts in other variations, you've got to do this again, but we'll just be clearing out one particular part. So I'm going to delete the bass part. So in order to select the bass part, I need to press the part button here so the little red light comes on. And then using the keypad, I need to press number 3. So we're now on bass. So now I've got the bass selected, I can unclick the part button so the little red light goes out. And now I want to press the registration button number 2. And again, watch what happens up on the screen. It says clear. Very quickly, it said clear, and it goes back to element. Now I'm going to use the left and right arrows, and instead of it saying element, I want it to say part. Now I'm going to press the enter button, and it says, are you sure? Say yes, and then eventually it says complete. A long press on the exit button. Do you want to exit? Yes, it's going to write it now. And now if we go to variation number 1 and play a chord, there's no bass part playing. I've deleted the bass part. Although it's still on in the mixer, number 3 is still on. There's nothing recorded. It's now an empty track, if you like. So now what we're going to do, now that we've deleted the bass part, is we're going to record a new bass part into variation number 1. So the way to do that is to press the function button, edit button, hold it down, and again it should take us to the edit mode. Edit says on the screen to drum, number 2, and variation number 1 is flashing, but I want to be doing the bass part, so I'm going to press the part button so the red light comes on, and then select number 3 so it goes to bass. Press the part button again so the red light goes out. So now we're going to record, we're ready for recording. First of all, I'm going to find a tone that I want to record. So I'm going to press the tone button, and this is the sound that was originally used on that track that we deleted. So I'm going to just pick another bass sound. I could use the wheel to select a new tone. I could use the up and down arrows as well. Or a quicker way is actually just to press this button here, which says num, short for number, over the top. And now I can actually press a number. So for instance, 172 is the first bass sound on the keyboard. And if I play a few notes, you can hear the bass sound, and I can scroll through the other sounds. Okay, that sounds quite nice, a chorus bass sound. So I've got my tone ready. Next, I'm going to do a short press on the record stop button, and you should see the word empty come up. Number 3 is flashing, and it's empty because we deleted it earlier. We're on variation number 1. Now it's going to be a long press on the record stop button. And the first thing you should see is the word quantize. Quantize is a way of moving notes to the nearest value that you set. On the Casio, this number here refers to the setting of quantize. Number 1 is off, and if I use the wheel, I can go round up to number 13, and then it goes back to number 1. It's not very clear in the manual at all, but these other numbers refer to different quantize settings. The ones that you'll probably use the most will be probably number 5, which is 8th notes or quavers. It'll move to the nearest 8th note. And number 8 is 16ths. Let's put it on 5 for quantize, so it's going to move to the nearest 8th note. Using the left and right arrows, there are other settings here I can set before I do my recording. Number 1 is to add a pre-count, so it'll play a little click before we start. You can ignore this for the moment, and I can also turn on the metronome, so it'll have a metronome playing at the same time. Once I've got all those settings, we're ready to go. And I start the recording by pressing start and stop, and I must remember to play in the key of C major. And you can see the measures and the beats are moving round. This is a 4-bar pattern in the rhythm. So here we go. And then I press start stop to end the recording. Now it's a long press on the exit button. Say yes, and here it actually does the saving or writing. And now we've recorded a new bass part into the pattern. Let's have a listen to it. So I'm going to play a chord in my left hand. Turn the accompaniment on. So that's now been recorded, and of course if we change chords, that's going to change chords, whichever chord I play in my left hand. So I hope that was useful. That's just the beginnings of editing and customizing the user rhythms, the preset rhythms in a user rhythm saving. And then The next thing we're going to look at is actually how to create a rhythm from scratch. So thanks for watching.